Canada, our home and native land. True patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Oi, Waitat, Dina Jolson Squawks, the Kamloops Tishvatma. I'd like to congratulate all those who are graduating in this October convocation. And I'd like to welcome you to the beautiful ancestral lands of the Kamloops Tishvatma people who have been here since time immemorial. And I'd like to start off by introducing my family. My paternal grandparents are Joe and Agnes Jules. My maternal grandparents are Tommy Casmer and Sadie Leonard. My parents are Clarence Jules and Dolores Jules. I'm one of 9 children that they had. I have 2 daughters and 5 grandchildren. And I'm a day scholar survivor as well as a residential school survivor. We've recently gone through a court case, and I'm sure that the judge will rule in favor of the day scholar plaintiffs. It was a really tough battle, and I'm part of the Language and Culture Department, and we're all part of the 215 ancestral remains that have been found. And just so you know, we've only looked at a little over 2 acres out of 160 acres that the former Kamloops Indian Residential School held. The first school was put in around 1890, and the red brick building was 1923. So that's a lot of years of generations of children going through. I was the 3rd generation in my family that went through the residential school. But our Shwetma people always had our traditional forms of education. The men were the hunters and the protectors of our people. They were the chiefs of many different areas, the hunting and fishing. We had really strong medicine people. We were prolific traders with many different nations when they would be able to come and trade in peace at the Green River Gathering every summer. And the women were the teachers of the children. They lavished them with love and respect and ensured that they learned family and community values so that we were able to survive for thousands of years. And the children learned to all their different roles with being a man or being a woman. When the children got over, the men took over the teaching of the young men. But we did a lot of our own education, and I, as an educator myself, I got my B.Ed and my Master of Arts degree, plus a lot of my own traditional education, so I know how important education is. And my grandma Agnes always said that we must be able to not only learn of our traditional ways, our language, history, and culture, but also learn and get an education, whether it's a boy, you're a boy or a girl. It's important that you be able to survive on your own, because she always said that the boys needed to learn how to cook and clean up because they may have a lazy wife, or else the girls had to learn to be able to go to school and get an education because their husband may be lazy. So anyway, I just wish to give thanks once again for being asked to do a prayer. I am truly honored to do this for TRU, and I give you hope you have many blessings, and I pray that on this day that your family will be taken care of. So be safe and be kind. These jokes for my relations.
Thank you, Elder Dina. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dr. Donna Murnahan, Interim Provost and Vice President, Academic and Research, and I'm so pleased to be your Master of Ceremonies today. Convocation is a very important day for you. You've worked so hard to get here, and your family, friends, and faculty know the journey that was required in making this exemplary effort. I know you, like I, had hoped that you could walk across the stage in person to accept your certificates, diplomas, and degrees. Thank you for your patience and understanding as we continue to implement COVID-19 protocols to keep everyone safe. We are excited for you to enjoy this virtual convocation with your family and friends. Remember your first days at TRU. For some of you, that was over 4 years ago, when things were different than they are today. You came together, embraced university life in all that it had to offer. You made friends, you learned, you explored, advanced your curiosity, and charted a path toward your future. For some, though, you did not get that same experience. Rather, you learned how to embrace change. You coped with virtual learning and adopted innovative approaches to your learning. Throughout these experiences, you have achieved lessons in life that will prepare you for the future. Lessons in patience, adaptation, knowledge, perseverance, resilience, and change. No matter which path you took to get here, congratulate yourself and thank all those family, friends, and faculty who helped you pave the way here. It is now my pleasure to introduce Dr. Brett Fairbairn, President and Vice Chancellor of Thompson Rivers University, who will formally welcome you to today's ceremony.
In the language of these lands, hello to each and every one of you. My name is Brett Fairbairn, and I'm President and Vice Chancellor at Thompson Rivers University. You are graduating today from a very special university. We take our inspiration and our colors from the pine and sage-covered hills and from the deep blue waters in the valleys. We honor te Kamloops te Secwepemc as our first house, hosts for our Kamloops campus, and Taachalch as our second house, hosts for our Williams Lake campus. We are on their unceded ancestral lands. And from these lands, TRU serves the people of nearby territories as well as others from around the world. And that's you, all of you, who are here to celebrate today. I want to start today with a simple but heartfelt offer of congratulations. You've demonstrated hard work and dedication to your goals. You likely overcame many challenges, and that's what has brought you to today, to this culmination of your accomplishments. The fact that you achieved this milestone as a global pandemic rages is remarkable. Your resilience and your perseverance and your determination in pursuit of your goals in these times inspires all of us who work in higher education. Likely, you did not do it alone, and you had friends and family members supporting and encouraging you. Perhaps some of those friends and family members are with you now. Please thank them for me. I know we all learned things during the pandemic. Like you, I had to become more familiar with online meetings and learning. That may be a useful lifelong skill. Time will tell. I've also learned how to speak to a camera and imagine that there's a crowd behind it, as I'm doing right now. That was not an easy transition to make. In fact, it's one I wish I'd never had to make at all. I would much prefer to be speaking to you today in person, to see your smiles and feel the joy and the enthusiasm that are such a big part of Convocation celebrations. But these are the times we live in, and sometimes larger events compel us to adapt. You don't get to choose the times that you're in. What matters is what you make of them. And that's why a convocation ceremony like this one is a beacon of hope. You have made the most of your opportunities, and you've done the best thing for your future that you could possibly do by earning a university degree or diploma. The past 18 months have challenged us in ways we probably never imagined, and we're not done with it, it seems, quite yet. One of the things that COVID-19 has shown us is that our social systems can be fragile. Our ties to each other, the ties that connect us as a society, feel threatened these days. Threatened by all-out arguments between opposing views, arguments in which many are talking, often aggressively, and no one seems to be listening. It may be tempting to give up on the concept of truth altogether. I have my truth, you have yours. Feelings and perceptions may substitute for truth, or that's how it may seem in times like these. But here in a university, truth matters. As a graduate of a university, truth must matter to you. The pursuit of truth is what we do, and it's how you got the knowledge and the skills that we're celebrating you having obtained. The search for truth, though, is not something that we do alone. Truth, it can be difficult, it can be complicated, it can be unclear, and that's why we pursue it together as a whole community, with all of the expertise and wisdom that all of us can bring to bear to help each other. Truth, in the sense of a shared understanding based on deep and real knowledge, is more important now than ever before. We need look no further than the travesties that happened in the former residential school at the bottom of this beautiful valley. For decades and up until recent times, Indigenous people here and across Canada were subjected to a brutal system that was designed to crush the existential core of their culture, their way of life, to take away their language, to take away Indigenous children. Leaders of Canada meant to break down the spirit of Indigenous people so that these people could be indoctrinated into settler society. Families were torn apart as children were forced to attend these schools. Many were abused and neglected. The use of their language was forbidden, and they were not allowed to take comfort in their familiar cultural traditions. Many children died and were buried unceremoniously in unmarked graves. Their parents were left to wonder what had become of them. They were lost to their communities, as was the optimistic promise of their unwritten future. This past summer, many in our community were shaken by the confirmation of 215 unmarked graves at the Kamloops residential school site. The news shone fresh light on the truth about Canada's residential school system, including the tragedies and the disappearances that Indigenous communities had long known about. While the facts of these events have long been apparent, the meaning and the importance have just been becoming clear for many Canadians. For generations, our society created, perpetuated, and tried to live by beliefs that we can no longer justify, beliefs that should never have been justified. Between 2007 and 2015, Canada's Truth and Reconciliation Commission travelled the country and heard from more than 6,500 Indigenous people about the painful and destructive legacy residential schools inflicted on generations of Indigenous peoples. The National Inquiry on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls issued additional calls for justice in 2019. And in 2021, Dr. Mary Ellen Turpel-Lafond issued a report on racism in BC's healthcare system. These are truths that matter for all of us. Not long ago, Canada marked its first ever National Truth and Reconciliation Memorial Day. More Canadians are facing the difficult truths about the country's past. Figuring out what to do next in light of those truths is the next task. Truth and reconciliation is one of the tasks that face you as graduates of this university. There are many more issues to face, and they're all serious, important, demanding, and daunting. Humanity desperately needs the best from you. You have the skills. As university graduates, you've been trained to think critically. You have the ability to question assumptions, even your own, and to probe facts. Use those talents. Our society needs them. Whether it's residential schools, vaccines, endemic racism, global warming, economic recovery, gender inequality, poverty, crime, drug use, or homelessness, the list of issues requiring your attention seems endless. But one fact remains clear. Our future as a collective depends on your ability to define and live by truths that affirm our interconnectedness with all the living things and beings we share this planet with. Make that spirit of interconnectedness your guide as you move on with the next stages of your lives. You've taken an important step on that path with the completion of your studies. The diploma or degree that you now carry proves that you have the skills, the knowledge, and the competence to deal with the uncertainties and complexities of life. And I hope that wherever your education takes you, you will take along with you the spirit of TRU. At TRU, we believe these things to be true, that everyone belongs and that everything is interconnected. We respect each other, we value the land and the environment, we believe in community. That's who we are as a university. And today, all of us are celebrating with you. We want to see where you go and where you take what you've learned in your educational journey. Graduating class, all the best. Wherever you go, TRU will be with you, cheering you on.
I now call upon Chancellor Nathan Matthew to say a few words and formally award certificates, diplomas, and degrees in absentia for our graduates today.
Congratulations, graduates. Today is your day, a time to recognize your achievements at TRU and celebrate your accomplishments with family and friends. In the past 2 years, you have met the challenges of obtaining a post-secondary education in the era of COVID-19. TRU has responded significantly in our provision of programs and services. And since this challenge is not over, I am pleased to recognize your graduation virtually. As a graduate, you can take your learning here at TRU into the broader world. I am confident that the skills and knowledge you have attained here at TRU will have earned you a rewarding career and constructive place in your community. You will take the diversity of opinions, ideas, and values sparked by your education at TRU and use them to be a positive influence on those around you. I know you'll be a contributing person wherever you choose to go. It's with pride that we hold you up to show the world that TRU, as well, is accomplishing its educational goals. Many of you will be embarking on new careers and new experiences, on further scholarship and grand adventures. You've worked hard. As you prepare for the next stage, take a moment to reflect on how far you've come and where you want to go next. Pursue your passions. Commit to lifelong learning. Keep your spirit strong and fight the good fight. Thompson Rivers University is your alma mater and will remain a place of engagement, of learning, and of connection, regardless of where your journey takes you. You are a member of the TRU family. Stay in touch. Again, congratulations. I wish you continued health and success as you step into your future, knowing that you are well prepared. Cookscham. Thank you. By the powers vested in me as Chancellor of Thompson Rivers University, I confer the certificates, diplomas, and degrees with all the consequent privileges and responsibilities in absentia to our graduates today.
Baiju Baby, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Cassandra Maureen Beck, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Krista Dawn Bedore, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Mildred Mary Below, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Christiane Denise Bennett, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Tila Marie Benton, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Brittany Best, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Casey Amanda Brandel, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. May Roseanne Cooper, Healthcare Assistant Certificate.
Hi, my name's May, and I graduated from my Healthcare Assistant Nursing program.
Sydney Beatrice Cruikshank, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Shauna Lynn Denold, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Megan Doring, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Krista May Dunbar, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Rhonda Pearl Dyer, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Narlin Erichuk, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Jodalyn Amanda Fast, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Chloe and Fayoski, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Bradley Kenneth Feddick, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Christina Dawn Gauthier, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. KIANA Lindsay Gosson, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. ALYSSA Goulet, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. KYLIE May Green, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. EMBER Helen Hartland, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Kathy Michelle Hartley, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Cameron Tiana Hymek, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Amber Hoesel, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Ally Deborah Lynn Hollowadiak, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Sammy Jack, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Deborah M. Jensen, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Desiree Rose and LaFleur, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Shannon D. Jean Larson, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Sandeep Kaur Lel, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Janelle Layton, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Mackenzie Laux, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Megan Patricia McElroy, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Lori Ellen McEwen, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Haley Marie McKenna, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. MARLO Lynn McKinnon, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Tallis Campbell McLeod, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Connie Enid McNabb, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Maria Magdalena Medrell, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Candace Betty Moore, Healthcare Assistant Certificate.
Congrats to my class. Congratulations, everybody. Yay, 2021.
Amanda Margaret Morrison, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Rebecca Danielle Ned, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Angela Marie Osmond, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Ashley Chantel Paul, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Con Duc Pham, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Isla Janet Rasmussen, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Lizette Renkers, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Kara and Rosin, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Lisa Michelle Russell, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Enola Michelle Siemens, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. KYLIE Silversides, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Kayla Lorraine Staton, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Annalyn Teodosio, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Georgia Page Thormoset, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Carrie Wells, Healthcare Assistant Certificate. Caitlin Sarah Claude Cash, Interprofessional Mental Health Practice Certificate. Talia Lope Victoria Peligan, Master of Nursing Degree. Cassandra and Jurista, Master of Nursing Degree. Temalola Tosin Olalai, Master of Nursing Degree. Raquel A. Long, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ugochi Yvonne Alfredna, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Elaine Joy Inocencio Balala, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Lawrenciana Catabe Baltazar, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Marites Garcia Baludiat, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Joanna Bacon Borromeo, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Cara Lee Cecilia Cornell, Return TO Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Bernadette Doria Date, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ravneet Kaur Dami, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Amandeep Kaur Dillon, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Desiree Joy Bakatura Abojo, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Janice Rickley Panika Diza, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Arcturus Lianos in Hambre, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Mac Anthony Boquil Fabroa, Return TO Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Leah Bejo Fernandez, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Lakshmi Lion Ferdilis, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Devinder Kaur Gill, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Paul Michael Go, Return TO Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Daryl Madredijo Ora, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Josna Joseph, Return TO Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Pukraj Kaur, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Amandeep Kaur, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Naomi Wanjira Kigom, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Marina Krachevsky, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Maria Estella Gimbaton Ligmeo, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ren Licao, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Kunjmal Matai, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. J. and Abalencia Mendoza, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. G.Z. Mullinger, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Kuldeep Kaur Mutta, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Reni Nakwal, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Philip Tiga Omuvi, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ranzamal Rashid, Return to Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Cobra Rezaida Haj, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Gina Lee Ritchie, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Samandeep Kaur Sandhu, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Jasdeep Sangha, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ramandeep Kaur Sarao, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Shalini Swastika Singh, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. And Sophie Marie Sotart, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Sri Prabha Sugathan, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Umbili Sundarababu, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Ing Tien, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Vian Karel Sales Tolentino, Return TO Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Louisa Alexandra Walsh, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate. Maria Era K. Xabaliero, Return 2 Registered Nurse Practice Certificate.
Hello graduates, family members, and friends. My name is Rani Srivastava, and I have the privilege of being the Dean for the School of Nursing here at Thompson Rivers University. I'm so pleased to be part of our virtual Fall 2021 Convocation and say a few words to our graduates. I know that many of us had hoped we would be doing this in person, but I guess not just yet. Even though this convocation is virtual, the importance associated with the milestone and what you have achieved in today's event is no less. So please be proud and do lots of celebrating. I want to begin with a big congratulations and a thank you to all our graduates and our families. Thank you to the parents, the grandparents, the siblings, the partners, children's, relatives, and friends, for it has been your support that has helped our graduates achieve their goal. To our graduates, a big congratulations. Congratulations on completing your program and embarking on the next chapter of your professional journey. I know that the journey to get here was not always easy or smooth, particularly given the current environment. And your success today speaks to your passion, your commitment, your resilience, and your adaptability. All of the things that you will need as you venture forth into your career. You are well positioned for what the future holds in store. So some fun facts about graduates for the School of Nursing Fall 2021 Convocation. This fall we have over 100 students who are graduating, 107 graduates to be precise. Our largest cohort is that of the healthcare assistants. We have 25 HCA grads from Kamloops, 19 grads from Williams Lake, and 13 HCA grads from the Open Learning Program. In addition, we have 3 graduates from the Masters in Nursing Program, 46 nurses who have returned to registered nurse practice, and 1 graduate of the Interprofessional Mental Health Program through Open Learning. What an amazing group of people who are now joining the healthcare workforce. You are joining the workforce at a time of great need and great challenge. You have the power to make a difference to the lives of individuals, families, and communities. I wish you all the best. Your work will be meaningful, and I'm confident that you will find it both personally and professionally satisfying. You've chosen a demanding and a very worthwhile career, and there will be days where you will be challenged, exhausted, and saddened. Always remember the difference you are making for others, and at the same time, please remember to take care of yourself and your colleagues. Seek out colleagues and mentors. Remember to both ask for and offer help and support to others. Your wellness is what's going to help you help others achieve their wellness. As you leave TRU, the School of Nursing faculty are very excited for you, and we are cheering you on. Keep in touch, reach out, and wherever you go, take the TRU values and legacies with you. My heartiest congratulations and best wishes for today and the journey ahead. All the best.
At this point in the ceremony, I would like to call upon TRU Alumni Manager, Mr. Dustin McIntyre, to welcome you as alumni.
Hello graduates, and welcome to the TRU alumni community. On behalf of all TRU alumni, I want to offer you my sincerest congratulations on what you've accomplished. I also want to thank your friends, family, professors, staff, and everyone else who supported you along the way. I am thrilled that your name sits among the more than 60,000 Caribou College, UCC, and TRU alumni in a truly global community over a 50-year storied history. Now more than ever, I encourage you to take the time and thank those who supported you and helped you along this remarkable experience. Take a moment to reflect on what it took you to get here and be excited about the next step in your journey. Your foundation is strong and it'll carry you to wherever you'd like to go. Many of you will be continuing on with your educational journey, many more entering the workforce, and some of you will take a completely different journey. But right now in this moment, you are all here together to celebrate. Enjoy being a lifelong learner and embrace sharing your experiences and covet your time here. I encourage you to stay in touch with the TRU Alumni Office. Share your stories and celebrations. We want to celebrate with you. Your journey and time at TRU is unique and special. You are now a TRU alumni. So again, welcome to the TRU alumni family. Congratulations on all you have accomplished, and thank you again.
As the formal portion of Convocation comes to a close, I would like to leave you with a message of hope and optimism using the words from a poem called The Hill We Climb, written by a 22-year-old poet laureate, Amanda Gorman. When day comes, we ask ourselves, where can we find light in this never-ending shade? We've braved the belly of the beast, such as COVID-19, wildfires, personal experiences, and yet the dawn is ours before we knew it. Somehow we did it. So we lift our gazes not to what stands between us, but what stands before us. We close the divide because we know to put our future first, we must first put our differences aside. We seek harm to no one and harmony for all. Let the world know, graduates, that even as we or you grieved, we grew. That even as we hurt, we hoped. That even as we tired, we tried. That we will forever be tied together as graduates of TRU, victorious. Let us leave behind a university and country better than the one we were left. We will rise from the hills. When day comes, we step out of the shade of whatever affected us, aflame and unafraid. We rebuild, we reconcile, and we recover in every nook and corner of our nation. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we are brave enough to see it, if only we are brave enough to be it. Congratulations, TRU graduates. Take time to enjoy your success, your reach for excellence, and enhance your capacity to move forward in your chosen careers or your travels wherever they may take you. Have a wonderful day. And this concludes congratulations, and please celebrate with your family and friends all around you.